Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stephanie Keel. I am the Director of Marketing at the Arts Center of Kershaw County, and we are conducting a series of interviews with the cast of The Importance of Being Earnest. We are so excited to introduce you to Therese Talbot, otherwise known as Racy. And we are just going to have a quick chat about sort of her experience and just her life and how she sort of ended up being in theater. Welcome, Racy. How are you?
Oh, doing very well. Thank you, Stephanie.
So we are obviously so grateful for this cast for putting this production together. Obviously, we've had some pretty serious issues with COVID. How has it been for you to sort of re-enter theater via Zoom?
Oh gosh, I've had so much Zoom in my life since March. Where I work, we use Zoom platform meetings all the time. I belong to some hobby groups that also use Zoom platforms. And I actually had not done any acting in a while. So when I was asked if I would do this, I thought, well, this would be a great way to do it without committing a lot of extra time. And so it's been a really good blend of addressing that need and desire to perform while staying safe.
Right. That's the big issue, I think. With theater, obviously we know Broadway is still shut down, I would say indefinitely. We have not opened our theater yet, so this is a whole new world for us. Technically, we have Richard Corrali as our tech director, thank God. So we are able to still sort of move forward in the arts with all of these issues. But on a personal note, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself as far as just, were you a theater kid? Did you become a theater teenager? Did you start doing this later in college? What's your theater story? Tell us about you.
Okay, well, I started doing a little bit of theater in high school, and then I started college at Columbia College here in Columbia, and I started as a library science major. That lasted almost a semester, and then I switched to speech and drama. I finished that degree. I left college. I did theater in Wisconsin, Colorado, New Jersey, and ultimately settled in Atlanta, where I worked for the Academy Children's Theater for several years. And then I got out of it completely. Got married, settled down, had children, etc. And then when I moved back to South Carolina after 33 years, on my bucket list was to audition for another show. And so in 2013, I auditioned for Les Mis in Columbia, and that sort of set that top spinning again. And I did, not too long after that, I did Jesus Christ Superstar out in Kershaw County with Jamie as the director. And also, most recently was in Mamma Mia, directed by Frank Thompson.
That was a really good one. I don't know if I think almost everyone in this zip code and other zip codes throughout the Southeast was able to see that show. It was absolutely fantastic. You were amazing in Mamma Mia. That was sort of when I got to see you perform. I did want to ask you also if you have a favorite production, straight play or musical. Is there one production that is just screams out as your favorite, or even just a top three?
I think one of my favorite productions that I've done in the past few years has to be a production of Sister Act, where I got to play the Mother Superior and was working with a cast that really bonded together. And the cast was so phenomenal and became a family, and we really truly hated to part company at the end of that run. As far as Artistically, I think my favorite production was as Silda in Other Desert Cities, which was the most difficult role I've ever done. And I had a headache every night because I would just be sobbing on stage at the end of that particular production. Then for just sheer music, probably Les Mis. Now,
That's a,
what I'd like to do when I grow up, I would like to play Eleanor in The Lion and Winter. Of course, so would every other woman in town of a certain age, but there you are.
that's awesome. So now that we're on the subject of favorites, do you have a favorite performer? Do you have a favorite, and it can, theater or on screen, do you have a favorite performer that you sort of that inspires you or that
Probably Glenn Close would
oh, that's
be,
a good one.
yeah, the most inspirational. Uh, she just does amazing, amazing work. As far as men, and it's a little off the usual path, but one of my favorite performers across the boards is Steve Martin,
Well,
because
he's phenomenal.
he is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
He and Kevin Kline, who I like not only because they are very funny, but they are wicked smart.
That super intellectual humor that is so perfect.
Yeah.
So since we're kind of talking about how everything is so different, with obviously you guys are not on stage,
Mhm.
you are not technically together, but here we all are together on Zoom. What has it been like from an actor standpoint with just behind the scenes, costumes and that sort of thing? What has the experience been like technically for you?
Well, as you mentioned, Richard is phenomenal. And I have not seen any of the rough cuts of this particular production, but I hear that it looks wonderful. Costumes have been coming out of our own closets,
Hmm.
and that's been fun. Props, same thing. You need a teacup. There's one in the cabinet. The thing that of course we miss is the interaction and that chatter that you get to have when you are backstage with somebody, although you're supposed to stay quiet in the wings, I know. um, but that camaraderie that you get to develop as fellow actors.
Right. That's been kind of a sort of a standard, I think, with just talking to all of the cast members. Everybody has mentioned the word team,
Yes.
the teamwork and the relationships that are birthed from being in a production together. It almost becomes a family.
Oh, it
But
is.
speaking of, you have a family member in this particular show, is that right?
I think technically we would say that, yes. I refer to him as my most excellent partner in crime.
So tell us a little bit about that. So because our audience, I don't think has any idea what I'm talking about.
William Arvey and I are, I guess you'd call us a thing, and have been for about 8.5 years now. We met, interestingly enough, online, and the amusing part was that in his profile, the first line was, "I am an actor." And my first response was, "No way." Uh, but then I read further down and realized that we had a lot in common. So we met up for coffee, and the rest is history, as they say.
Oh, sorry. How many shows have you guys been in together?
Together, let's see. He ran lights, interestingly enough, for one show that I was in. And then I've kind of lost count, 3 or 4, I think.
He was to our audience. He was also in Mamma Mia.
Just he so was, and not amazingly enough, his name was Bill, and he was my love interest, which made it kind of fun.
Definitely, the chemistry was definitely there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your character in The Importance of Being Earnest and your relationship with that character or your analysis of that character? Just tell us a little bit about who you are playing.
Lady Bracknell. Lady Bracknell is quite proper. I first met Lady Bracknell while doing summer stock theater in Colorado, which was many years before an awful lot of your viewers will have been born. I worked backstage and just loved watching her. And I loved the character. And I hear her voice in so many things when I'm portraying her. She's She has decided ideas of how things are supposed to be. She is quite opinionated. And I think that although she says things that sound a little flippant, that she knows exactly what she's saying and she speaks with intention all of the time.
Hmm.
She is not passive.
Right. That's perfect. So I did want to ask you also, why do you think people should watch this show? What is compelling about the importance of being earnest?
First of all, it's a classic. It is fun. This is a fun show. It is a fun show to watch. It is a fun show to do. And I think when you see it, you will understand that we are having fun. Um, and it's the kind of show that you'll come up with. If you watch it enough times, you'll come out of it with a couple of good lines for your own repertoire. Um, I happen to love to say, "Rise, sir," from that semi-recumbent posture. It is most indecorous.
Amazing. Well, Racy, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being a part of this show. We cannot wait to see the final product, and I know it's going to be amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.